Battleship New Jersey is seeking to replace some of our teak wood deck, which has badly deteriorated since the ship was last in service in 1991. When it's being maintained, it can be preserved indefinitely. However, after a decade sitting in mothballs without receiving work, the deck deteriorated very badly, and the museum has never been able to get on top of it. This causes climate control issues inside of the ship, where the teak provides insulation. It causes tripping hazards for visitors and staff as the teak deteriorates, and it causes further deterioration of the steel underneath. In the 1980s, the Navy was not able to replace the teak with a full teak wood deck. Ever since her design in 1943, the battleship had wood decks. But even with infinite funding, the federal government decided to go with a laminate system with 1.5 inches of Douglas fir capped off by 1/2 inch of teak. On the surface, the teak doesn't look that bad, but the Douglas fir underneath has turned to mulch in the 30 years since this was put down. In theory, if the ship had continued to get work, it would have been able to last a much longer time. However, not being used, the caulk seams have come loose, water gets under the teak layer, and the Douglas fir acts like a sponge, absorbs it, rots, continues to hold that water, and holds it against the steel so that the steel underneath is corroding very badly. Eventually, the steel gives way, and the water makes it inside the ship where it does more damage. In the past, the museum has attempted to make patches using concrete. However, this is a stopgap at best. The concrete is also porous and holds water against the steel, and acids in the concrete accelerates the corrosion of the steel underneath.
One section that the deck force was able to remove intact was entirely teak. It wasn't part of the laminate. And this section is several boards still caulked together and intact and in relatively good shape. To help fund the rest of the project, we're auctioning this off starting on November 20th. This block of teak from the fantail of the Battleship New Jersey was likely laid down when the ship was first built. It was definitely on board by the Vietnam War in the 1980s, and it could have been on board during World War II. This block of wood would make an excellent display base for a large model of the ship. It would also make a good tabletop when combined with legs or placed on top of a barrel. Thank you for supporting the museum and our continuing efforts to restore and preserve the Battleship New Jersey.